Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926. It continues route. So, anyway, we're getting some spicy shit now. Maybe, they're going to allude to it, obviously, but he gently set me down on the bed. See, there you go. He paused for a moment, blinking a few times. Space. I noticed that I was holding onto his sleeve without realizing it. A glimmer of mischief flashed across Nicola's smile. You know, I'm beginning to feel a bit sleepy myself. And do you mind if I join you? Okay, see, he laid me I figured we were getting the frisky. Now you're just going to carry me to bed, chuck me in, and be like, peace out. Bert, stop biting my headset. I've told you like 10 times. Stop it. Just be in bed. Although he asked for permission before I could even reply, he took off his jacket and climbed into bed. He held me in his arms and pulled me down beside him. Nicola... I closed my eyes, grateful for his kindness. I bet we don't. Okay, again, the first, we had CG right off the bat, but I'm like, come on, we're lacking them. As his warmth enveloped me, it soothed my heart. I found myself drifting off to sleep. Like, what the hell? I thought we were getting some spicy shit. And the sight of her sleeping face stirred me. And there's something I haven't told you. Oh, what is it? Okay. I have no idea what that call was. Okay. Identity. Okay. Now shit's getting good all of a sudden. I see. Okay, Emilio said that! Emilio! I didn't notice his name up in the corner. I just saw right as I was about to read the line, and I was like, okay, cool. I see. But I suggest that you not disclose Teo's background. After all, knowledge does not always lead to happiness. As for the rest, you're free to share what else you discover. By all means, do continue your role as informant and lend them your aid. What happened to Joseph was unfortunate. I believe it was the doing of someone we know, but I have no proof to offer you. Wasn't it like Teo? Wasn't he the one that in one of the other routes? Given the state of his body, too, poor soul, it was for the best that you didn't see him. Will you contact me again if there's anything to report? I'm counting on you, Orlok. You had to know he was talking to Orlok. Come on. You had to know. There's something I haven't told you. And the more important you become, the more secrets I have to keep from you. My mind can never rest because of my love for you. Aw, that's kind of sweet, and also slightly shady. You know. A few days passed. Julia and I were preparing today's dinner in the kitchen. Hearing some noise from the entrance, I reacted at once. Julia, he's here! Yes, let's go. It's like, I don't know why it takes me a little bit to get into Julia's voice. Like, we hurried down the hall to find them stepping in through the entrance. Oh, I love it. I love this sprite of him, you know what I mean? Just like, he's doing the milady tip in the hat thing, but it's not douchey. Because it's 1926. It really just depends on the person, but like, I don't think hats make somebody a douche. It's just, it's, you throw that on top of like the douche cake, but, Anyway, Nicola was accompanied by someone. Leo! You got out of jail! Leo, welcome home! Thank you. Leo Cavagnas has returned. I don't know if that's how you spell his last name, but whatever. Despite his bright smile, Leo was obviously tired and worn, which gripped my heart with pain. I know, poor Leo. I heard from Nicola that then the police were... I think it's supposed to be that. I heard from Nicola that the police were aggressive in their interrogations. We're preparing a feast just for you, unlike anything you've seen before. Make sure to save your appetite, Leo. That's not Julia's voice. I don't know what's happening. Really? Thank you very much, Julia. I can't with voices today, apparently. Leo, you did well. Thank you. In response to Dante's praise, Leo's voice shook as tears began to fill his eyes. Oh my fucking god. He literally is the family dog, isn't he? Sorry, the volume just got really loud all of a sudden. Leo, we'll call you when dinner's ready, so until then you should rest in your room. Jesus Christ, computer! I turned my volume down, clicked off the volume thing, and then it just fucking, like, bolted up 30 fucking point. Like, what the shit? God, I don't know why everything in this fucking place is, like, haunted lately. Jesus, it's killing me. Thank you very much, Nicola. Well, if you don't mind, then... He looked hesitant to accept, but stifled a yawn as he stepped out of the salon. That's right. Dante, about the meeting tomorrow, something's come up, so... Say no more. I can handle tomorrow's deal myself. It sounded like business was picking up again, and Leo had been safely released, too. I felt much more relieved this afternoon. After finishing our lavish feast, Nicola and I decided to go to my room. So glad Leo's back. You did a lot to get him out, didn't you? So much. Well, it's the job of the underboss, that's all. But it's all worth it to hear your thanks. Nicola's smile slowly disappeared. He looked at me with a serious expression. Say, Space, what is it? He doesn't look very happy. I heard that you told Dante that I was like an older brother. Oh, yes, I did say that. I'm your lover, remember? I've never once seen you as a younger sister. I'm sorry, that really wasn't what I meant. You're just a natural at looking after others, especially those younger than you. There's something very brotherly about the way you show your concern. You're like, I meant to Dante, not to me. Nicola's like, I'll show you. But I've never seen you as an actual brother before. Sorry, that was uncalled for. He let out a sigh and shook his head before giving me a firm hug. I mean, could you imagine? You're like dating someone, you're like, yeah, you're just like such an awesome older brother, and they're like, I mean... And, you know, most of the time, calling someone like a brother or a sister to you is, you know, not going to be sexual. I say most of the time, because there are exceptions, creepy as it is. And sometimes in Otome games, there are exceptions. When you play those routes where you're like, am I really going to have sex with my brother here? Because, like, keep pointing out that he's my brother, and then, you know, they're not, but still, you're like, something's gotta give here. Like, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. So, normally, one would not find their older brother or sister or any family member attractive, but, I mean, aside from the, like, no, objectively, my so-and-so is an attractive person, but you don't feel an attractive, you know what I mean? Like, you can objectively be like, that is a good-looking person, and not be attracted to them. But, usually, you don't say, like, my brother, who I find very sexually appealing. That's disturbing. Like, I get his concern. You called me a brother? Not like that. Oh, okay, cool. Good God. I was just a little surprised hearing her refer to me in that way. I thought that perhaps you didn't see me as a lover. I mean, after the shit that we've probably done? That's weird. I've never had a brother, but I'm just going to assume that's not how that's supposed to go. Huh? But aren't we together like this? Well, you and I have a bit of an age gap. Do we? We do. We're 7 years apart. That's better than when they're like 20 years apart. I'm just throwing that out there. It hadn't occurred to me until now. I never saw our age difference as anything unusual. You've always been the same wonderful Nicola I've always known. Grazie. Oh, no, just a forehead kiss, I'm sure. Nicola's expression softened, and he kissed me ever so gently. Oh, not a forehead. Knowing I had just seen a glimpse of his true feelings filled me with joy beyond measure. Another Meemaw story. Joker! Whoa. What's he doing in this game? Ah, yeah, makes sense. How is he doing? He's been undergoing treatment without resistance. And dare I say, with unexpected obedience. What is it? You seem to want to say something. Is his slow recovery bothering you? If so, I believe I said that we cannot be overly optimistic. overly optimistic as far as that's concerned.
It may prove dangerous to keep him around forever, Signore.
Are you scared? He's my ace in hand. Or rather, a well-kept joker. Ah, right, we're talking about, Raoul, aren't we? Probably.
Even if he recovers, his leg will remain impaired. The doctor is of the opinion that he'll not be able to make a full recovery.
Oh, unless we're secretly talking about somebody else, but...
Still, I would end his life now if I could. It was cause for concern, but for now I have no choice but to obey the church for my own goals.
So now we gotta find out somebody who's got an injured leg when they show up. And then that's who they're talking about. I mean, I kind of forgot about Raoul, and then they did bring him up. But then this almost sounds like it's somebody even more secret than that. You know what I mean? I hope this can continue. I prayed that he'd continue to be honest about what was really on his mind. I really do like the meanwhile stories when you go to the side and you're like, this is also what's happening in this exact moment. You know what I mean? It's kind of neat. Instead of like doing a cut like this, we're in Dante's perspective, instead of cutting and being like, meanwhile, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? I like how they do the meanwhile stories, where in the middle you go in and it's kind of like, well, I gotta rip myself out of what's happening here to go. I mean, it's usually at the end of a scene, but still, I kind of like it. It's slightly different than our normal format, and I mean, obviously it was the same in the first one, and I'm pretty sure I said the same thing in the first one. I just like the fact that it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? This was business as usual. All I needed was to hand him the documents, confirm a few items, and have him sign. Looks like we're set. And just as we were about to close the deal... Stop right there! Nobody move! They're gonna arrest Dante! Oh, Nicola's gonna get so mad. There was no one in the salon at noon, so Julia and I enjoyed a casual chat.
I'm a bit worried that Leo isn't back to his usual self, but he keeps saying he's going to repay the family for saving him.
Oh, that Leo. Jesus Christ, that again? Oh, you. Oh, that Leo. Girl, you're not 82. Stop acting like it. I could picture Leo's bright and determined face in my mind.
Really? Oh my, I think the Dolce is just about done. Let me check on it. You just wait right here.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Julia headed to the kitchen, leaving me alone in the salon when... the phone rang. Should I answer it? It might be urgent. I hesitantly stood and picked up the receiver. Hello? I heard a somewhat familiar voice on the other end of the line. Oh, okay. I was like, I heard a somewhat familiar voice. I'm like, I was thinking Dante's calling from jail, but like, it wouldn't be somewhat familiar anyway.
A good day. And this is the direttore of the Berlone Casino.
Yay! Finally get to see him. I love him. I've met him before. Before I could respond, he continued.
There's a matter of urgency I must relay at once, which is why I've called. I've received word that Signor Falzone...
Huh? I couldn't believe my ears. We already know what happened. I like how they cut it off like, what? What happened? We already know. He got arrested. Unless they killed him. If they killed him, I'm going to be really fucking pissed. As an off-screen death, I don't think that counts. You know what I mean? Oh, we're already in chapter 3. Holy shit. Okay. Dante Falzone arrested! Police raid illicit deal. Suppress mafia resistance. Falzone tied to drug trafficking. Police chief seeks expedited trial. All are equal under the law. Prostitution rings threat to city council. Justice will prevail. The mafia's finished. Ernesto did fail. Prostitution rings. Dante. Hookers and drugs. A week had passed since Dante's arrest by the Berlone police. Poor Dante. Nicola finished his morning espresso and stood from his seat. Unless this was all you're doing to get your cousin out of the way. You know, if it wasn't you, I would believe that. Or I would be concerned. But fucking Nicola loves Dante more than he loves me. So I'm just, you know. Leaving already? Yes, but I should be able to come home early today. Are you alright? I'm fine, but Julia... After Dante's arrest, a heavy pall lingered in the manor. I mean, yeah, our precious little fucking white-haired kitten. Got us a kitten, but he's also just like, he looks all tough and angry like he's gonna claw you to death, but he's just a little furball. You know what I mean? Stop. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rattled myself. Julia, in particular, seemed to take it harder than anyone else. Maybe it'd be best for her to take a few days off. Otherwise, she may push herself until she collapses. Would you be able to talk to her? Yes, of course. Thank you, Space. Nicola kissed me on the forehead as usual. Love it. It's not as intense as, like, I mean, just make out with me a little. Jesus Christ, where's my sugar? But I do like forehead kisses. You're like, no. It's a job. You know, I like it. Nicola, the car's ready! Nicola's eyes remained on me as if reluctant to leave, but then he nodded and departed the salon. He would probably visit the station again in between meetings to see Dante. Poor Dante. He had been going there every day for the past week, but was never granted permission to speak to Dante, not even once. Nicola returned to the manor the night after Dante's arrest and explained everything to me. It was a brave move by the authorities to arrest Dante, especially since they have no real evidence to speak of. So I'm certain he'll be released sooner or later. Leo's case is a good example. Yeah, but they're making shit up. But Dante had been behind bars much longer than Leo had at this point. Although nobody spoke of it beyond what was necessary, everyone in the Falzone family was on edge and worried about the situation. The situation? Wow. I mumbled that. I cleared the dishes from the table and brought them into the kitchen with a sigh. Julia, Nicola just left. I see. Julia responded absent-mindedly, and I noticed she looked rather pale. Say, Julia, how about you get some rest? I know I'm doing just fine. There's too much to be done today. Well, why don't you leave the dishes to me? But it's one of my many talents. I've never broken a dish in all my life, you know. I don't think I've ever broken a dish just from washing them either. What are your dishes made out of? I mean, I just don't feel like that's like... I have never broken a dish anytime I've hand washed them. I get they're slippery and shit like that, but I mean, like... And, like, shit happen. Accidents happen. But, like, I feel like most people are like, I break dishes all the time. You generally don't. Like, it's just weird to be like, I have never once broken it. Wow. That's not a talent I would brag about, is all I'm saying. Okay? Like, it would make me so happy to help you in any way that I can. Thank you very much, Space. Then, if you don't mind, I'll have a bit of a lie down. Good. I watched as Julia walked out of the kitchen with weary footsteps. Question. Oh, meanwhile, in jail. Oh, poor Dante. Okay, I know it's Nicola's route, but I just love Dante more. What is wrong with me? We're in Gil's route. He is a real charmer. I'm just throwing that out there, though, but it's still like, hi, Oliver. He's not even a love interest. We're in Orlok's route. Of course, I'm going to look at everybody else, because I like Orlok as a character, just not as a love interest. We know this. So, then of course I'm fucking in love with Oliver in that. And then now we're in fucking Nicola's route, and I'm like, oh, poor Dante, we need to save him. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't think that's what they were going for when they wrote the routes, is to make you, like, love a different character than the one you're dating. But, I mean, if that was their goal, bravo, because they've achieved that. But I really just think they're failing their task successfully of making us love our love interest. Like, here's your love interest, and you're like, I'm failing this task successfully by falling for... I think I got that all wrong. But anyway, I'm in love with Dante over here. Like, I feel more for him than I do for Nicola in this route, which is just... I gotta be honest, I love Nicola, but so far you're like, there's stuff going on, but the relationship with Nicola is very fucking bland and almost non-existent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel the connection here. And I love Nicola. He's one of my favorite characters because he's beautiful. But I personally am like, as I'm playing this, I'm like, I was like more connected to Gil and I like Nicola more than Gil. But I'm over here like Gil's had a better route and is a better love interest in this game than Nicola has been so far. I know we're only in chapter 3, but I'm like, his route's going really fast so far, and he's just there. Like, I'm disappointed, I think, a little bit. Like, not in the story and everything going on, because that's interesting, but I'm kind of like, I'm supposed to be in love with it, and again, it's not even like, oh, I was really looking forward to this character. It's the second game as the fan disc. So, like, you already cemented that I love Nicola, and now we're playing his route, and I'm like, he's been dead in every other one. I expect this to be, like, less anticlimactic, you know what I mean? You're like, Nicola's finally alive, and you're kind of boring. And, like, you're like a stale saltine cracker right now. Like, and it's disappointing? I don't know. And again, I know the plot is more important than the romance taking a back seat, but I just feel like the other ones, I don't know, you know? There's just something missing here. There's a spark that doesn't exist right now for me, which is just making me sad. Because, like, Nicola shows up and I'm like, I love you, but, like, just not feeling this route. Like, I'm not feeling the love in the route. The intrigue and what's going on in the story. Absolutely, I'm here for the plot. But I shouldn't be here for the plot. What the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble if you just spill the beans. And this again. Surprised you're not bored already. I've said it once and I'll say it again. We've done nothing wrong. I mean, that's a load of shit. You're in the fucking mafia. But, like, drugs and prostitution. Sure, I agree with you there. And pushed down the dull pain and spoke clearly. My men stayed strong through these violent interrogations, and I would do the same. I mean, seriously, you can't cave. Leo didn't cave, you can't. As the boss of the family, it was my duty to uphold our honor at all costs. Damn it! When are we gonna get the proof? If we only had a wife or a kid or someone we could just nab, things would be easier. He's like, I watched as Julia walked out of the kitchen with weary footsteps. Though still concerned, I put on an apron, rolled up my sleeves, and got started on the dishes. And, like, they put this whole thing, and, like, but the thing is, like, some of this, like, oh, if only he had a wife or kids, like, oh my god, if we were dating Dante, they would totally kidnap us, there's gonna be this whole plot, and, like, whatever, and there'd be this, and, like, but you're like, but I mean, like, now they've kind of spoiled it if they're gonna try to kidnap me to get something out of Nicola. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just feel like Nicola's taking a back seat in his own fucking route. After cleaning up, I looked around the kitchen. She said she was planning on baking some focaccia, so I should get the dough ready. I know how to say focaccia. I think I said it right, but, like, it's bread. I sure hope Nicola was able to see Dante today. I couldn't seem to take my mind off the matter. I know, Dante's distracting me from Nicola's route. Nicola maintained the same composure as always, but I knew he was more worried about Dante than anyone. I need to keep myself busy. I took a deep breath to lift my spirits. As I began to prepare the focaccia dough, I fell into a thoughtful silence once more. Doesn't matter how many times you try. And the officer at the front desk was haughty as usual. And it doesn't matter if you're a foul zone or not. No means no, so just give up and get out. When I received the news that Dante had been arrested, I immediately went to the casino. According to the Direttore, Dante was apparently arrested without just cause. I must say I was quite surprised, and the police simply barged in with no warning whatsoever. Of course, we did everything we could to defend our dear guests, but alas, to no avail. Apparently, the authorities were operating on conviction that a deal was taking place here. And Signor Francesca, might you know anything? There was nothing illegal about that deal, both in terms of the goods and the contract. Yet it's come to this. Police are bent on keeping Dante behind bars. My imagination began to invite unpleasant fears when the door at the end of the hallway opened. This bitch. a young man walked toward me with a police officer at his side. As they passed, he mumbled, "That poor Dante Falzone." What? It's payback. Your fate is sealed. I reached out to block his way and saw a smug smile creep over his face. "Hey! He's with the church, you scoundrel!" "What's going on, Nicola? This isn't a place for us to start anything." I lowered my arm, holding back frustration. Is Teo here? It wasn't unusual to see a priest talking to the police from time to time. The fact that he was here at this very moment was timed too suspiciously for comfort. What is he planning? I'm pretty sure he's already executing his plan, which is to get Dante in jail. Unable to read his intentions, all I could do was keep my guard up and my eyes open. If Dante dies, I'm going to be fucking mad, is all I'm saying. Clenched my fist tightly. Like, Nicola's going to survive this route at least, but... At this point, if we go in any other route and fucking Nicola's dead, it's like, well, I mean, he's been dead in every other route. Like... But, like, if Dante dies, I'm going to be kind of mad. Like... He's here. I saw his car pull up in front of the manor, so I quickly went out to greet him. "Nicola, you're back." "Sure am. Aren't I lucky to have you come see me like this?" "Thank you." Nicola seemed appreciative of my presence as he stepped out of the car, but must not have been able to see Dante. It was clear by the look on Nicola's face that he had been unsuccessful. "I'm sorry, but I have something urgent to do. Would you mind letting Julia know that I'll skip dinner?" "Hey." Nicola then strode past me into the manor. Like, wow, not a hug, a kiss, nothing. Just walk right on past. "Ah, Nicola, do you have a moment?" As I was heading to the office, is it consigliere? I don't know how to say that. Anyway. "Calvino! Oh, he's got a name! Call him Calvino then." Called out to me. "How's the boss doing? We'll be out anytime soon." "I've been doing what I can, but things haven't been going well. A more aggressive approach may put Dante in danger." I responded in a collected manner so as to show that I had things under control. That being said, I was losing confidence in my ability to maintain a strong front much longer. It was more important now than ever that no one knew how anxious I was actually feeling. "It may be insensitive to bring up, but with the boss away, you're free to command the family as you please. Some are of the opinion that delaying his release is, in no small part, due to that." "Ah, you mean to say that I'm not to be trusted? Are you of this opinion as well?" No, not at all." "And say whatever they please. While the rest choose to gossip, I'll be attending to my duties as underboss." He's like, okay. I just think it's funny that, because yes, I understand where that thought process is coming from. Well, like, with Dante out of the picture, Nicola's in charge now, and, like, that's a great way to, get Dante out of the picture and get control. But, like, Nicola loves Dante more than, again, he loves me or himself almost. So, like, I don't think he would actually do that. But then again, he's also kind of shady. So, maybe. But, like, it's one of those things where you'd be like, no, Nicola wouldn't do that. He loves Dante. And then he's like, I actually did. And you're like, I shouldn't have been surprised by that. You know? That's exactly how it would go down. And may actually, you know what I mean? You're like, no, Nicola, you love Dante. You can't believe you stabbed him in the back. I should have seen that coming, actually. Yeah, it makes sense. Because it absolutely makes sense. But yet, also doesn't. The man is a freaking word that I can't think of right now. Anyway. So, they don't trust me. I betrayed the family once before. It was only natural that concerns would be raised. What did you do the last time in the other game that I don't remember? And Dante had explained my betrayal as part of a deliberate strategy, but some were reluctant to believe it. Oh, didn't he go, like, work with the Visconti in the original one? Yeah, we talked about that earlier, I think. When they stilled down my motives, if they could see exactly how worried I was. Even if it proved my innocence, I still bristled at the idea of causing unease within our ranks by showing my emotions. When was it exactly that I started hiding my feelings? When did I get so good at lying? I feel like you've always been good at lying. It doesn't matter if the others don't believe me. No matter what they say, it won't hurt me. And there was someone in my life who still trusted a liar like me. The image of her face appeared in my mind. Well, because we trust fucking everyone. So, like, I'm just saying, that's really not something you should. Again, this is like me. I've never dropped a dish in my life. Good for you. I feel like, okay, sweetie. Pat the little derpy potato on the head. Okay. And then you have Nickel over here. At least she trusts a liar like me. Again, she trusts everyone. I'm pretty sure she would almost, if you were like, Teo is evil and we watched him stab a man, she's still like, I don't know, but like, should I trust him? She'd still question it. Because she's just a goody two-shoes. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't hate the MC in this game, but like, sometimes she does stupid shit and she's like an innocent little church mouse and it's like, girl, I'm gonna need you to wise the fuck up at this point. You're dating the mafia, for frick's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not the worst MC we've had. I think for the most part, she's pretty good. Like, you know. But she has her moments where you're like, idiot. like, they all do. Or like Nicola in this case, idiot. She trusts me. Again, she would trust a con man. We're not the brightest crayon in the box over here, okay? And it's not that we're stupid. We're just very trusting because we think everybody is probably wholesome and wonderful. No! Especially the church. They seem to be the worst. I'm just throwing out. Like, Emilio might be good, but like most of the other people, and Sister Sophia, but like are people at our particular church, but just the church in general has been really fucking shady and despicable in this whole game. So like, I don't know why you trust anyone at this point, but here we are. In any case, I'd better get moving. And there were still things that were in my power. Like shooting all of the cops and busting Dante out of jail. I feel like we shouldn't do that, but like, hey, we are the mafia. Wanting him to at least have a bite, I headed to his office with an espresso and some biscotti, hoping to at least get him to eat something light. Nicola appeared in the corridor. Ah, it's you. What is it? I brought these for you. Espresso and biscotti for me? Thank you. Nicola smiled, taking the tray from my hands. Nicola, are you busy tomorrow too? I was hoping you would take some time off for yourself. I mean, I know the last thing you want is to take a break now of all times, but I understood the situation, but I was worried about Nicola, who I was sure hadn't slept much all week. He looked at me for a quiet moment, then spoke in a low voice. I'm sorry. I know I'm not the only one having a hard time. You must be just as worried. You're like, I'm worried about you. I'm also worried about Dante. I'm absolutely worried about Dante. Probably more than I should be, but why don't we go out tomorrow? We can visit the church and have a nice meal at a restaurant. Thank you, Nicola. I'd love to. I mean, I feel like, see, yes, I want you to spend time with me, but like, I kind of understand why you don't in this, right? Like, logically, I absolutely understand why we are not spending time together because everything is on fire. You need to put that shit out before we all burn to death. Got it. So, like, her being like, I want us to spend time together. I mean, she's not complaining about it, but the game almost makes it seem like she is. Where she's like, I want you to take some time and rest, and I want you to take care of yourself. And he's like, why don't we go out? It almost makes it sound like she's whining about not spending time together. She absolutely isn't. But it's that trigger that all of a sudden you're like, oh, what, girl, seriously? Like, you want to blame her for it, but it's not. It's not her at all. But, like, in reality, you'd be like, nah, bitch, put out those fires. I get it. But this isn't a Tome game. So, like, us not spending any time with Nicola and her love interest is exactly why, for 3 fucking chapters, it's been like, is this Nicola's route? Because, I mean, the plot's great, but, like, I'm not feeling my love for Nicola here. Like, he might as well not even be here. He might as well be dead. Like, he wasn't every other route for as good as he's being. And I feel bad saying that because it's like the writers are just like, whatevs. Like, you know what I mean? So it's really not fair to Nicola that we don't spend any time with him. But then kind of putting it like this makes it like she's whining about not spending time with him when she's not. And it's just weird. I get why they're doing it, but it's just a weird way to have done it. You know what I mean? Instead of him being like, yeah, why don't we go out and do this? It's like, you know what? You're right. you know what I want to do? I want to spend time with you, and I want to do that. That's how I want to relax. And it's all about him, which, I mean, we're getting the benefit of it. But since we're worried about him and we want him to relax, it's just the way it's phrased, I guess. And it could be a translation thing, but it's just phrased like we're whining about not spending time with him when we absolutely understand why we can't. But again, it's an Otome game, and we should be spending time with Nicola, not 98% on the plot, 2% with Nicola. You know what I mean? Like, the plot's important, but at the same time, it's a romance! Like, you know? You don't watch porn for the plot. When the plot is that great, it gets in, like, the way, and you might as well not have a porn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm here for a little bit of plot. I want it to be interesting and not and like whatever. But I still want my romance in there. It's got to be a balance. And like right now, this is all plot. No romance. Aside from the forehead kisses. That's fine. That's working for me. But it's not doing any justice to poor Nicola. So stop biting my headset, bird. Anyway, thank you, Nicola. I'd love to. I'll get my work done by tonight. So you can... Oh, can you wake me up tomorrow morning? Yes, of course. Well then, good night. And don't keep yourself up too long, you hear? Forehead kiss. He gently kissed my forehead, then headed back into his room. I do like the little forehead kisses when we don't have time to, like, make out. He's just like a little kiss on the forehead. And I'm like, okay, bye! It's like, thanks. Alright, those get to me. So that's our 2% of romance that we're getting out of Nicholas, the forehead kisses. I'm here for those, don't get me wrong. I don't want him to stop. But they're doing a little disservice to poor Nicola by, like, not having him romance us in his route. I feel like this is like a Dante romance. You know what I mean? Like, we're not romancing either one of them. Like, it could go either way at this point. And it's like, but we're in Nicola's route. So, like, I should feel more romance toward Nicola than be like, well, I mean, it could go either way. We could romance Nicola or Dante at this point. I don't know. Like, you know? But that's the way it feels. So, or this is just the harem-esque route where we just get to be in the middle of this man sandwich. And I'm totally fine with that, too. But, you know, I'm just saying. Just at least tell me that. Be honest. The following day, Nicola made time for me as promised. We decided to head out to Arca for a change of scenery. We're going to go to the church. Boring. It had been a long while since we walked together holding hands like this. This is nice. Oh, welcome, Spacey. Oh, and Signora Francesca, too. Elena was sweeping the outside when she noticed us and hurried over. You two look perfect side by side like this. So, were you holding hands the whole way? Of course. It's my duty to properly escort the Signorina. Nicola was completely at ease as he responded. I was happy that he acknowledged what Elena said about how perfect we looked together. Still, I felt my cheeks prickling. Is there anything you need? No, we didn't come for any particular reason. We just stopped by to see everyone. Elena nodded with a welcoming smile. Well, stay as long as you like. Thank you, Elena. Nicola and I headed over to the refectory. Okay, like, we should hook up frickin' Elena with, like, Orlok or with Leo. Just throwing it out there. Like, Leo deserves happiness. The moment we stepped inside, Sister Sophia came to greet us. Oh, welcome back, Spacey. And welcome, Signor Francesca. I have heard what's happened. Sister Sophia's voice was kind, and she spoke with a solemn expression. I understand this is a difficult time, but I'm certain that God's watching over you. Grazie, Signor Sophia. Sister Sophia. Why did I call her Signor Sophia? Anyway. Sister Sophia. We'll continue to do what we can. After all, it wouldn't do to leave all the trouble to God. Nicholas smiled as he always did, then asked Sister Sophia a question. Is there anything that the church needs? Nothing in particular. The Valzone family has done so much for us already. I'm truly grateful for the guards you've stationed here. I had no idea. I wasn't aware that the Valzone was still actively protecting the church. I looked at Nicola with surprise. He merely responded with a gentle smile and a nod. How about some tea? Please stay a while if you can spare the time. I'd be happy to, and I'm sure my dear Signorina feels the same way. Yes, I would. Thank you. His thoughtfulness brought a smile to my face.
Well, let me prepare a few things.
Say, Nicola? After seeing Sister Sophia walk off to the kitchen, I asked, what will you do about Dante? About the guards! What do you do about Dante? I'm sure we're going to ask about the guards, but I want to ask about Dante, okay? Me? What about Dante? Just because. Again, because, like, I don't know whose route I'm in right now. I mean, just, obviously, but you know what I mean. But I'm sure she's going to ask about the guards. Yeah, okay. She's going to ask about the guards. About the Falzone Guard stationed here to watch over the church. I didn't know about it, but thank you, Nicola. Also, and I feel like asking about Dante would just make him sad, and we don't want to. We're trying to avoid that, so. It's only natural that we would, and this is your home after all. While I was happy to hear him say it, there was something else that made me feel uneasy. I'm seen as your weakness, aren't I? That's why others might target the church to gain leverage against the Falzone. And that's why you have to guard the church. It seems I've underestimated you. Yeah, I'm not as stupid as I act sometimes. I may be naive and trusting of everyone, but I'm not completely stupid. Nicola chuckled to himself after hearing what I had to say. The odds of it aren't too high, but I'd still rather play things safe for everyone's sake, and I appreciate that, because the children, Sister Sophia and Elena, don't deserve that shit, so. I mean, to be, used as pawns. Sister Sophia already got punched by Orlok in the first game, alright? I'm still not over it. She's a nun, leave her alone. Granted, everyone at the church is a shady motherfucker except for Sister Sophia, okay? And the children and Elena. So, this tiny little bubble of the church is fine. Leave them alone. Thank you, Nicola. He looked after me in so many ways, whether I realized it or not. I was very grateful for his concern. Beast! Oh, what's happening? Ooh! Others. Oh, I don't know who it is. There weren't many customers at this hour, making it too easy to enter through the back door. Stop! Ah! I feel like this is not Orlok. I would kill all who stood in my way. Even if those hooks felt heavier in my hands. I dragged my leg behind me as I cut down anyone I encountered along the way. Is it Yang? Because he had hooks, remember? His little weapony thingies, right? Didn't they have hooks on them? Oh my god, if he's not dead and he's been imprisoned in a basement somewhere, that would be fucking hilariously amazing. I don't know. It would make so much sense. And I'm gonna be so sad that we didn't get to read it in the accent, but it's fine. My sudden appearance surprised him. It can't be. Why are you here? I'd rather respond with action. Okay, I'm sorry. No forgiveness. You did not just kill the Phantom of the casino. That's not allowed. That is just wrong. Stop it. How dare you? My poor precious Phantom of the casino. How? Don't hurt Henry. What the fuck? He's so manipulative and evil and just kind of fucked up, but goddamn, he wears a mask and it's sexy. He's got so much flair and drama. Oh no! Aww. Well, that sucks. And so, we spent a leisurely afternoon at the church enjoying tea with Sister Sophia while Henry was being ripped to shreds by someone with a lame leg, and I'm just starting to feel like it might be Yang. Why would they have left him weapons, though? Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. Whoever that is, right? Teo, wasn't it Teo and Henry were having this conversation? Oh, well, he's got a broken leg, and freaking Henry's like, I'd have just shot him like a horse, But, I feel like Teo let him loose. I feel like he did it to take out a pawn. I'm just throwing it out there. But, is this mystery person, like, why would you have left him weapons? You're like, I just left this lame-legged bastard in the basement. We left him weapons with him. He's fine. It's fine. It'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? So that seems like a setup. Like, Teo's, like, unlocking the gate and being like, here you go! Why don't you go murder the Phantom of the casino? Peace out! If you can get it. You know what I mean? And, like, who else would, like, be dragging a lame leg behind them and, like, murder people? I feel like it's absolutely a Yang thing. Just throwing it out there. I mean, it could also have been Lee, I guess, but that wouldn't be as dramatic. You know, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. And even though they were talking about Raul at one point, it could be, but then it's like, how did he get injured? You know what I mean? Like, Yang being injured and trapped in a basement would make sense after the first game. We're like, oh, we killed the Lao Shu, they're gone, but not really. We dragged Yang out and brought him back. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of would make sense, but, like, you'd have to explain how you got Raul injured. You know what I mean? Like, because he was just a character added in this game. You mentioned him, and you haven't brought him up at all, so it would make sense more than Yang in that respect, because otherwise why would you have brought him up in this route, and he's not here yet in Chapter 3, but, like, I feel like that's a lot to be like, oh, okay, so then it's Raul, and then this happened to him, blah, 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 to explain the busted up leg, and then all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how would you explain that? That seems like a lot to contrive, where it's Yang. He wasn't dead, but he was extremely injured. Oh, yeah, makes sense. You know what I mean? That's just so much easier to explain away. Anyway, who knows? We'll find out. It's exciting. Again, the plot's exciting. The romance is just non-existent right now, so. Sister Sophia invited us to stay for lunch, but as we were only here for a brief visit, I politely declined and we went on our way. Nicola and I walked around to see where we could stop for a meal before returning to the manor. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm totally into the plot. Like there's so much shit going on, and there's it's entertaining, and I do love this game and the original, but I do feel like Nicola's taking a backseat to the plot, like 100%. I kind of forget sometimes that we're dating him. So we discovered a familiar face nearby. Orlok? Oh, Gil. Should not be surprised. Also, I mean, Gil has been slightly more charming than Nicola in this route, and Gil's only shown up like twice, so. Hey, Nicola. I see the Signorina's with you. Gil called out to us with a friendly smile. Which is just sad, because, like, you know, Gilbert. So what are you two doing out and about? Isn't it obvious? I see. A date, huh? That's right. And you called out to us knowing we were on a date, didn't you? It's all good. Are you too hungry? Well, we're still looking. Since you don't have a reservation anywhere, why don't you join me? I know a place nearby. Work? Okay. Nicola's route is the thruple route. We're like, yeah, well, I was doing him and Dante, but then Dante got arrested, so I gotta find a new third party, and now we're on a 3-person date with Gil. The only way this could get more awkward, but also better, is if you brought Oliver with you. Gilbert. Nicholas squinted his eyes with dissatisfaction. Right, because poor Nicola's like, are you moving in on my woman? Because I had to get rid of my cousin because he was moving in on my woman. She said I was like a brother, and now you're moving in on her. Like, Nicola, it's fine. I'm not going to leave. Unless you brought Oliver, then I absolutely would just leave you in a heartbeat. And didn't I just tell you that we were enjoying a nice date? Come on, lighten up. We're all friends here, aren't we? I nodded and accepted Gil's offer. See, and then this doesn't help. Nicola's over here like, you just, what? You're leaving me for another man? Yeah, basically. Because they've made you so, like, stale fucking cracker in this route. Like, you were a stale saltine. So I'm going with, like, the spicy hummus over here, whatever. It was the first thing that popped into my head. It was like spicy something or other. Like, it'll be fun to catch up with you, Gil. I feel so bad for Nicola. Space. It's nice to get together once in a while. Are we doing this on purpose? We're like, I'm doing this so that you realize you need to spend more time with me, motherfucker. I'm gonna peace out. Like, then it's it. I'll introduce you to the best calzone you've ever had in your life. I like how he tells us what a calzone is. But it won't tell us what any of the other fucking Italian dishes it brings up is. But it'll tell us calzone, as if none of us have a goddamn local pizza place that also makes fucking calzones. Do you not know what a fucking calzone is? Everybody fucking knows what a calzone is. The rest of, I mean, in focaccia, because, like, you've probably been a place where they had that kind of bread. You know what I mean? But, like, so many other fucking things they have spit out, and you're like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But you're gonna fucking give me a goddamn glossary term for calzone. What the so dumb. It's so dumb. A baked dish with dough folded into a crescent or half moon shape. It can be stuffed with a variety of ingredients such as cheese, olives, and tomatoes. I mean, seriously, it's basically a pizza folded in half. Like, let's just be real. I just cannot believe we're getting a glossary term for calzone. That is just... Seriously? Of all the other food that we have eaten, all the other Italian words that have come up, and that's the one. It's like trying to explain what a pizza is. I'm pretty sure anybody who's reading this in English knows what the hell a pizza is. I'm just throwing it out there. We headed to the bustling plaza where crowds of people were coming and going. The air was filled with lively conversations of restaurant patrons dining al fresco. It's outside, all right. Can't waste a good day today like this. Can't waste a good day like this. Well, you don't mind, do you? Not at all. But is it really all right for Nicola and Gil to be out together in public like this? I mean, that's a valid point. Nicola was the Falzone family's underboss, and Gil was the Visconti family's boss. Anything that either of them did had the power to affect the town in no small way. Also, the fact that, like, I know that, like, the Falzone and the Visconti are, like, buddies now, but everybody feels like, there's all these weird rumors about Nicola, right? And because in the first game, he quote-unquote betrayed the Falzone family by going to the Visconti. I'm assuming that's what they were talking about. And now they see him hanging out with Gil. You know what I mean? It's just not going to look good for us. At the same time, Nicola doesn't really make himself known as the underboss, so... Last year's incident put Nicola in the paper, but hardly any pictures of him were published. In any case, if neither of them were worried, then I shouldn't worry myself. Hey, Gil, so what'll it be today? Let's see. Any recommendations? We got some nice veal in today, so how about... Saltimbocca? Is it Saltimbocca? Something like that. Oh, this they tell us. Okay. A dish of veal wrapped in prosciutto and sage. Oh, okay. Alright, we'll have that in a calzone for 3. You two like... Oh, Marsala wine. Okay, Marsala wine, don't you? Fragrant and smooth pairs nicely with this. Marsala, a fortified wine produced in the region surrounding the Italian city of Marsala in Sicily. Take a breath. Given how strong and sweet it is, it might be easy to go overboard in drinking it. Really? I wouldn't mind having some. Nicola's like, excuse me? You're like, I feel like getting drunk tonight. You know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We all get a little drunk. Shit might happen. Get the... Now it's getting a little romantic. You know, it's only because I'm throwing it in there. Like, you're welcome. Please, Nicola. I promise I won't drink too much. I rarely ever said anything like this, but I was determined to make the most of the day. Seeing how hopeful I was, Nicola chuckled. Then just a little. I'm not 12. I will do whatever the fuck I want. Oh, well, aren't you two a cute couple? Looks like Nicola's no match for you, same as when you were staying over at ours. Really? I always thought I was the one who was no match for Nicola. Well, if you ask me, Nicola's the one who's been acting out of character. Oh, an aria. Out of character. That wasn't me. Nicola forces a kiss on the heroine. He regrets that his emotions got the better of him. Forces a kiss! Nicola, you bastard, how dare you? We're almost at time, but we have time to do this. After leaving Space's room, I headed down to the lounge, and my footsteps led me to a place full of people. And that way, if she chased after me, I could avoid a situation where we'd be alone together. Why did I kiss her? It was forced against her will. I pushed her into compliance without asking. I kept her from resisting as the emotion peaked. What have I done? What was it that I said to her? The memory of it failed me, yet I clearly remember what Space said. Ah, okay. I think I kind of remember this CG. I mean, I remember the CG, but I don't remember the scene, really. It would have mattered if you died back there. If I had to go through it again, I'd still do the same thing. Why? Because oh, that's okay, reverse. Okay, reverse those. Anyway. It would have mattered if you died back there. If I had to go through it again, it would still do the same thing. Why? Because I want to protect you, Nicola. I don't remember what happened, so, She's just an ordinary woman who doesn't have the power to protect someone in my position. But she protected me tonight. In a situation where she could have died, she risked herself for my sake. Of course, I was angry at her back then. But I shouldn't have forced a kiss on her like that. You were angry at me, so you force kissed me? I'm just throwing it out there that that's a really weird reaction, but okay. I obviously know I. It's like, oh, I'm just so impassioned that you risked your life for me that I kissed you. I'll allow it. I looked up, hearing the doors open. In walked Gilbert. Hey, Nicola. So how's she doing? Well, she wasn't badly injured. And what's with that serious face? Don't tell me you acted in some manner that you regret. My God, Gil. Like, you have one fucking eye and yet you see everything. It's gotta be, that's that extra sense kicking in, because he's got the eye patch. I felt my face become hot despite my efforts. No way. You're kidding. I didn't do what you think I did. No? And what did you do? Did you at least kiss her? Did you at least kiss her? What the fuck kind of conversation is this? No way, you're kidding. I didn't do what you think I did. Did you at least kiss her then? Gil, you should be more upset that he, like, what did you do to her? Did you? No. Okay, well, you kissed her, though, right? Like if Nicola's like, yeah, man, went to Pound Town, and then Gilbert's over here high-fiving him. Hello? That's something that he regret. I mean, I guess Gilbert doesn't know that, Nicola force-kissed me, but it's still, you think he regrets it. It just sounds like he did something inappropriate and not, It's just weird, then, if Nicola's like, I regret it. Did you sleep with her? Yes. Oh, and you regret it? You know what I mean? What kind of a conversation is that? And that's none of your concern. I stood up from the sofa and quickly left the lounge without looking at him. And Gilbert's over there yeah. And Gilbert was just playing around. It was only a lighthearted remark. So why did I react like that? I could have just laughed it off. A wave of self-loathing gripped me. I couldn't control my body or my emotions anymore. Everything was out for all to see. The second I closed my eyes, I saw her face wet with tears. Before I realized what I was doing, I touched my lips with my fingers. I can only sigh at my stupidity. Nah, but you know what? That's way more action than we've gotten in this whole route so far. I'm just throwing it out there. Nicola was looking on with an indescribable expression on his face. I like the fact that, you're like, huh, what's he thinking? And you're like, now we know what he's thinking. Flashback. I like that. Again, that's part of, the whole, meanwhile stories, the little Aria things. You get the insight into their mind. Aside from doing their perspective things. This brings me back. Remember that time we put on a show just to get Nicola to want to kill you for what you were doing? Gil's boisterous laugh was infectious, and I found myself giggling as well. Gil must know what's going on with Dante. I appreciated how he was trying to cheer us up without mentioning that topic. Good Gil! Don't you just want to pat him on the head and ruffle his hair? He's so goddamn charming. Why is he just coming at it? He's like the fucking horse coming out the end of the race gonna take over. It's not that I don't like Gil, but it is it's that, and I can't remember the first game and, where everybody, I mean, I still think Gil wasn't one of my top favorites, but it wasn't like I didn't like him. You know what I mean? Because he's that character that charms the fucking pants off you, and you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But, for some reason in this game, if Oliver didn't exist in any route, I think Gil's, kind of becoming the MVP. There's just something about him that's just so freaking endearing and charming in all the goddamn routes, and you're like, God damn it, you're just so good. You know? What the fuck? This is Nicola's route, and yet I'm more concerned about Dante. And then you're over here like, hey, thank you, Gil. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm with Nicola. Like, poor fucking Nicola. I feel bad for him. I really do. And again, Gil would absolutely be the MVP if Oliver didn't fucking exist. But Jesus Christ. Oliver in those first two. Just fucking little golden boy, wasn't he? Could just be me, but I just love that motherfucker. Anyway, so we're about at time, so I am going to wrap it up here, and we will continue next time. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more.